Welcome back to Stamps Old World UK. Today, we are exploring what many collectors call the most famous and valuable stamp in the entire world, the legendary British Guiana 1-cent Magenta. This tiny piece of paper is not just a stamp, it is a global icon of philatelic, a symbol of rarity, history, and extraordinary value. If you are passionate about classic stamps and their market prices in today's dollar value, this story will truly fascinate you. The British Guiana 1-cent Magenta was issued in 1856 in the former colony of British Guiana, which is now known as Guyana. At that time, there was a shortage of stamps due to delays in shipments from England. To solve this urgent problem, local printers were asked to produce a temporary issue. These emergency stamps were printed in very small quantities. Among them was the 1-cent Magenta, intended mainly for newspapers. What makes this particular stamp so extraordinary is that only one single example is known to exist today. Yes, just one in the entire world. The stamp is printed in black ink on magenta-colored paper and features a simple design with a sailing ship in the center, along with the colony's Latin motto, Damus patimus quae vicissim, meaning we give and expect in return. Because it was a provisional issue, the stamp was rather crudely printed and cut by hand into an octagonal shape. At the time of issue, it was worth just 1 cent. No one could have imagined that more than a century later, this small emergency stamp would become the most expensive stamp ever sold. The story of its discovery is equally remarkable. In 1873, a 12-year-old schoolboy named Louis Vernon Vaughan found the stamp among his uncle's old papers. He sold it for a small sum to a local collector. From that moment, the stamp began its incredible journey through the hands of some of the most famous and wealthy collectors in philatelic history. It passed through European and American collections, increasing in fame and value each time it changed ownership. Over the decades, the British Guiana 1-cent Magenta set record after record at major auctions. One of the most historic sales occurred in 2014 at Sotheby's in New York, where it was sold for approximately $9.5 million, including the buyer's premium. This made it the most expensive stamp ever sold at that time. Then again, in 2021, it was auctioned once more and reached an astonishing price of about $8.3 million. Even though this was slightly lower than the previous record, it still confirmed its position as the king of stamps. Now, let us talk about its market value today in US dollars. As of today's philatelic market conditions in 2026, experts estimate that if the British Guiana 1-cent Magenta were to appear at auction again, it could easily achieve between $10 million and $15 million, depending on market demand, global economic conditions, and the level of competition among billionaire collectors. Because it is unique and there is no second example, its value is not determined by catalog listings in the traditional sense. Instead, it's driven by rarity, historical importance, media attention, and investor prestige. In simple terms, its value is whatever the highest bidder is willing to pay. In the stamp collecting world, rarity is the most powerful factor influencing price. Many classic stamps are rare because only a few hundred or a few dozen survive, but the British Guiana 1-cent Magenta stands alone as the only known example. This absolute uniqueness places it in a category beyond normal collecting. It's more like a masterpiece painting than a typical stamp. Wealthy investors and collectors see it as both a cultural treasure and a financial asset. Condition is normally very important in stamp valuation, but in this case, condition is almost irrelevant. The stamp has been heavily used, shows wear, and even carries a cancellation mark. It also has handwritten initials from an early postal clerk. Yet none of these imperfections reduce its desirability. In fact, they add character and authenticity to its story. Because there is no other copy to compare it with, collectors accept it exactly as it is. For viewers of Stamps Old World UK who are interested in market trends, this stamp represents the very top of the philatelic investment pyramid. While most collectors will never own it, Studying its history helps us understand how value is created in the stamp market. Historical importance, scarcity, demand from elite buyers, and global recognition all combine to push prices into the millions of dollars. If you were wondering whether ordinary collectors can benefit from this knowledge, the answer is yes. While you may not find a multi-million-dollar rarity, you can look for limited printings, errors, and stamps from short-lived issues. Research, patience, and careful storage are key. The British Guiana 1-cent Magenta teaches us that even a small, simple stamp printed in an emergency can become the most valuable philatelic treasure in the world. Today, its estimated value in US dollars remains in the $8 to $15 million range, depending on the timing of sale and market excitement. It continues to hold the title of the world's most famous stamp and one of the most expensive collectibles ever sold. Its story connects colonial history, printing errors, chance discovery, elite collectors, and record-breaking auctions into one incredible journey. Thank you for watching Stamps Old World UK. If you enjoy learning about rare stamps, their history, and their current market value in US dollars, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. In our next video, we will explore another legendary classic from the golden age of philately. Until then, keep collecting, keep researching, and remember that every old stamp may carry a story far greater than its size.